Hi, I'm Ed Amorosa from Tag Cyber, and I'm here with my friend Elon Kaplan, who is the CEO of Cytegic.
Yes,
How are you doing? How's everything?
Excellent, thanks, Ed.
So we're here to talk about cyber risk management.
Yep.
And a topic that I think a lot of people probably don't understand real well involves validation of data.
Yep.
So I think the essence of risk management is collecting data. What do you do to validate, to make sure it's all the different things that you do when you're collecting data? How do you guys deal with that problem?
This is a major issue, actually, Ed, and one of the biggest things is we tend to ask people questions, and to ask someone to what extent you like your firewall is not exactly the best quantified way of addressing the issue of validated maturity assessment. But at the same time, we don't have digital breadcrumbs of everything all over the place. So how do we help people to give us the best knowledge? And how do we validate it? In order to do that, we need to remember that people give better information if they know that their data is validated against objective information. And this is the first thing. Second, it is important to focus on quantified questions, like not to what extent you are updating your data, but how often, in what pace you're doing it. And finally, to collect rapidly the configuration files of information, like the firewalls, like the NAC, the WAF, every one of the 50 categories of controls, and to rapidly correlate it to the same data set that you get from people. And now I begin to talk about real technical data versus human data. And by showing people the sources and the management, what is the correlation between the two? Now we talk about valid information.
You know, when people are being asked, like on a questionnaire or something,
Yes.
I think it's been your position. I agree that they can get pretty good about either gaming or kind of twisting. Is that a human thing? I mean, do we all do that when we're answering a questionnaire about risk?
Actually, it's a human thing all over. Every time I'm asking anybody a question, psychologically, we tend to ask ourselves, what do I want the answer to be? And as we talked before, if I'm asking a mother to what extent her kid is intelligent, or her daughter is beautiful, they're the best in the world, of course, they're the world to us. But when I'm asking, okay, I have all the information about the math and English and literature and science scores. Okay, where do your kid fit in the classroom? They know the answer. The same goes to people asking questions about their security posture. It's the same. Make sure that you ask them the right way to enable them to give you the right data. Now, one more thing, it is not a one-time process. You need to enable people to look at the data, compare it, and then to correct their own answers, because maybe I got it wrong. So helping people to know how to assess themselves. Now, also, one more thing. We need to break it to digestible parts. So asking to what extent your control is great, it's one thing. But there is a difference between talking about functionality, updatedness, coverage, and management of controls. So if you help people by focusing on the elements or going all the way down to the specific components, now we're helping them answering questions the right way. So it's as much on us as the people collecting the data as on the people answering the data to get it validated.
What should security teams do if they're looking at a security risk management tool? Should they be asking their vendor about this validation process and whether it's part of the platform? I know you do it at Cytegic.
Of course.
What should security teams be looking for?
This is a very important issue because the issue of standardization of interfaces is a very big thing with a world of thousands and thousands of vendors. So the question is, can I generate a good and machine analyzable export of our deployment and enable other players in the value chain to analyze it.
Yeah.
There are some players in the market that give very easy access to the configuration file, so other players can interface with that. And we are interfacing with the toughest and the easiest as well. But let me give you another example. How do you assess, for example, awareness and training? This is supposedly just human input, but any large organization has a learning management system, or ERP with some components with some indications of recent training that was done in different departments. So it's easy to generate a report, interface with it, with, for example, our system that can digest it in minutes, and show you how does it match against your policy.
Interesting.
So the whole idea is, don't suffice with just asking people. Validate it, help them to focus on what their real answers are, and you educate them and the organization. It's not to be honest, it is to be realistic. People want to be honest, but they would need the tools to help them be accurate. And this is our job.
That's great. I mean, that validation component is almost like a little bit of a truth detector, right? It certainly adjusts the view towards something that balances both perception and reality.
It's really interesting that you said that. We just had a very interesting experience with a very large company, that the distinction between two units, where one of them was very honest, and actually they were deep in the red, but they were honest about it, and it emerged to a very straightforward remediation program. And the other unit tried to, let's say, cut corners. But using this approach, it was very clear that it's not us calling it a bluff, it's their own machines. I'm not going to mention the reaction of their boss, but the outcome was another set of assessment that was much more effective and very fast.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, we will keep in mind the importance of validation in cyber risk management.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for the great tip, and we'll see you next time.